Uwais Asmal helps entrepreneurs improve their cash flow and grow businesses by providing financial strategy advice and accounting services. And Uwais joins us now. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks.
So, just expand on that. Why is all the stuff you do important?
If you think about it, business owners and entrepreneurs are really good at what they do. They're amazing. They are the ideas people that come up with all these brilliant ideas and they push the envelope. But finance is not their favorite part, and it shouldn't be because they should focus on growing their business. But that leads them making certain decisions that are not the most optimal, and because they're not focusing on being a good business owner, they're focusing on doing the thing that they're growing. So they're not finance is not specifically what they do. So that's where we come in with our expertise, being able to see things from a more analytical point of view, also with our experience on other clients and how to manage cash flow. And that's how we help clients manage their cash flow, plan properly, and maybe create some more income or save on tax that they can create new jobs or go on holiday or they couldn't plan to go on before.
And it frees up a lot of their time, I suppose, in order for them to spend more time making more money.
100%. I've never heard of a business owner say, I can't wait to look at my financials. So let us do that for you.
There might be some people out there who would think, actually, I don't need to hire anyone to do my finance because my finance is very simple and all I'm going to do is pay for somebody to do something that I can do anyway, and actually it's going to lose me money.
That does come up a lot. But the interesting thing is that the most precious commodity to the entrepreneur is their time.
Yeah.
And them spending 5 or 10 hours on something that would take us 2 hours is 10 hours that they wasted that they could have spent on growing their business because it's not their specialty. So give it to somebody who knows what they're doing, and it will help them grow. Because also as your business grows, you have additional problems or additional things that you didn't consider, and then that goes beyond your experience. Yes, you can learn it at some stage or try to learn, but you're never going to know it as well as someone who's experienced in the industry.
So what are the kind of do's and don'ts of pitfalls and finance and everything that you work with?
I guess managing your time is obviously important, and most important is not being penny shy and pound foolish. Like, I don't want to spend this amount of money, but if you spend this amount of money, the actual savings are a lot more from a cash point of view or from a time point of view. Or I'm not willing to. I'll figure something out, or I can find it cheaper somewhere else. You could find it cheaper somewhere else. It might just take you longer. You might just have to put more into it. You might have to use more of your time. You might pick up errors that you didn't have to do. So if you find someone that you work with that's really good and understands the way you work, don't be penny shy and pound foolish.
Just out of interest, the penny shy and pound foolish, what does that mean? Because it sounds like a bit of a contradiction. Is that where somebody doesn't want to spend pennies, but they're just foolish with the amount they spend on big things?
That, and it's more, I don't want to spend pennies, and it ends up resulting in me spending pounds. So because I wanted to save a little bit here and a little bit there, I end up spending a lot more time and a lot more cash at a later stage, or a lot more in taxes. So spending a lot more pounds because you didn't want to pay the penny.
Hiring a service like yours, is that a good idea for taxes? Because taxes, for some people, can be quite overwhelming. You're probably constantly worried about making a mistake and ending up in prison for the rest of your life. So outsourcing that to somebody else maybe eases the stress of it.
Taxes is one part. Obviously, legislation, income tax legislation is complex. There's sections and caveats and exceptions and all those things that we study for years that business owners don't study. And if you don't use the legislation proactively, the legislation will be used against you. If you don't treat the tax authorities proactively, when they come knocking on your door, it's way too late. Because then you're on their radar. Whereas if you deal with them proactively and you deal with them legally and ethically, you're more likely to come to a reasonable agreement. So taxes is one part. Planning your taxes, and that comes with the actual amount, but actually the cash flow for those taxes. But also just planning for when it needs to, how you need to calculate it. What are the exceptions that can save me things? Because at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility as a business owner. Somebody might be doing it for you, but you as the director of the company you will be ultimately responsible. So you don't get to give that away. But you at least can give it to somebody who you can rely on, and you can, if something goes wrong, you can go back to them. They've got these ethics that they need to meet with. They've got these industry standards that they need to meet with. So you can rely on it.
Yeah. Do you do ways to lessen the amount of tax you have to pay via the legal routes that some would argue aren't always moral?
There's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Tax evasion is illegal and unethical, of course. Tax avoidance is when you use the legislation as it is written and as it was meant to be written. And simply, for example, like let's say you invest in a less wealthier part of town, and there's a tax incentive to invest there, where they'll reduce your taxes for investing there. You shouldn't penalize yourself for trying to improve the city, and the government is actually giving you that benefit. So you should use the benefit because the government is giving it to you. You're not being unethical by doing that.
Obviously, every country has their own different tax policies and tax rates. So can you hire somebody from another country to do your taxes for you? And does it depend on what country it is? Or would they be overwhelmed and not have a clue about your country?
So there are instances where tax professionals from other countries might have studied in your country and they know your legislation. But generally, for tax purposes and understand, it's better to get someone from your country who understands the legislation and deals with it every day. Because there's, like you say, every country has different legislation. But things like cash flow planning and tax planning and cash flow management, that can be done by anyone. Any chartered accountant worth their salt should be able to manage your cash flow, plan properly so that you can manage your cash. Yes, the intricacies of the different sections, leave that to an expert in your country. But the normal planning for tax, everybody also understands what the general company taxes are for every company, so they can at least manage your tax from a cash flow point.
What's coming up for you in terms of your company? Are there plans to expand it?
So we've got clients all over the world. We've got clients in the US. We've got clients in Canada. We've expanded. We've had a client in Dubai, in the UK, in Ireland, and we've had on continental Europe as well. So we are a growing business. Our expertise are needed in most businesses, in all businesses actually. So we are continuing to grow, and we have experienced professionals that we employ that are helping us on this journey.
Excellent. Well, in the meantime, where are we able to find your company and hire you to sort out our taxes and cash flow and business finance?
OCFO.com is the best place to go. It explains all the different things, because we not only do accounting, we also do automation of different systems to save you time and the higher level advisory. So OCFO.com. Otherwise, reach out to the team on LinkedIn, but the best place to go to is OCFO.com.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been great having you on.
Thanks so much, Toby. Great chatting.